Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, can you hear me?
Hare Krishna, Vaishnavi. Yeah. Yeah, please start with the pranam mantra.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Mataji, 1 second. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपाय कदा मह्यं ददान्ति स्वपदान्तिकम्। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमति भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
Hare Krishna, Narayan.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. You can start, Ma.
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, today we are going to sing Chaurashtakam.
Yes, please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Urate
Prasiddham Navanita Choram Upangananam Chadukula Choram Aneka Janmargita Papa Choram Choragraganyam Purusham Namami 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 Shiradhikaya Hridayasya Choram Navambudasyamalakaranti Choram Padashritanam cha samasta choram Choragraganyam purusham namami Choragraganyam purusham namami Choragraganyam purusham namami Akinchani kritya padashritam yaha Karoti bhikshum patigehainam Kenapyaho bhishana chauraedrik Srishta shruto varna jagatrayepi दीयनामापि हरत्य शेषम् गिरिप्रसारानपि पापराश आश्चर्यरूपो ननु दृष्टश्रुतो वा न मया कदापि मनं च मानं च तथेन्द्रियाणि प्राणं च हृत्वा मम सर्वमेव पलायसे कुत्र धृतोऽद्यचोरा त्वं भक्तिदाम्नासि मया निरुद्ध छिन्नसि घोरं यमपाशबन्धम् निलसि भीमं भवपाशबन्धम् छिन्नसि सर्वस्य समस्तबन्धम् नैवात्मनो भक्तकृतं तु बन्धम् मन्मानसे तामसराशि घोरे सारगहे दुःखमये निबद्ध लभस्व हे चौर हरे चिराय स्वचौरदोषोचितमेव दण्डम् कारागृहे वस सदा हृदये मदीये मद्भक्तिपाशदृढबन्धन निश्चल सन् त्वां कृष्ण हे प्रलयकोटिशतान्तरेऽपि सर्वस्वचोरहृदयान् नहि मोचयामि चौराग्रगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि 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 व्रजे प्रसिद्धं नवनीतचौरं गोपाङ्गनानां च दुकूलचौरम् अनेकजन्मार्जितपापचौरं चौराग्रगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि अनेकजन्मार्जितपापचौरं चौराग्रगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव नाम नमस्ते नरसिंहाय सलादलाददायिने हिरण्यकशिपोर्वक्षः शिलाटङ्कनखालाये इतो नृसिंहा परतो नृसिंहो यतो यतो यामिततो नृसिंहा महे नृसिंहो हृदये नृसिंहो नृसिंहमादिं शरणं प्रपद्ये तव करकमलवरेण खमाद्भुतशृङ्गम् दलितहिरण्यकशिपोर्तनवृङ्गम् केशवधृता नरहरिरूप जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नृसिंहदेव जय नृसिंहदेव नृसिंहदेव जय नृसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज भक्त विघ्न विनाश नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय भक्तों शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की जय
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. I'm outside. I couldn't join my video. Yeah, thank you so much for listening.
Thank you Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Vaishnavi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Vaishnavi.
Yes, Mataji, I am there.
Yeah. Please continue with the Bhagavatam. I'll join in another 15 minutes. I'll join by 8:25. Okay.
Bhagavatam, which one, Mataji? It is the advent of Krishna past tense, that one.
Yesterday we have. Otherwise, try to complete the 7 slokas of 15th chapter. Reading the purport part. I'll join you. Okay.
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, excuse me.
Mataji. Yes, ma'am. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, can I start with this?
Yes,
That's the next sloka, Mataji, 15th one.
yes, Mataji. Hare
Okay.
Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah, I'll continue, Mataji. सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो मत्तः स्मृतिर्ज्ञानमपोहनं च वेदैश्च सर्वे अहमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृत् वेदविदेव चाहम्. Can you show the translation?
Yes,
Okay.
Mataji.
Translation: I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. Purport: the Supreme Lord is situated as
Read the purport.
Mataji, may I recite the shloka?
Mataji, don't we have to read the purport?
Mataji told to leave the purport and then she will take
No,
the
she
purport.
said to read it. I
Yeah,
guess.
Mataji, she said to read the purport.
Yeah, please complete the purport.
One. Okay. The Supreme Lord is situated as Paramatma in everyone's heart, and it is from him that all activities are initiated. The living entity forgets everything of his past life, but he has to act according to the direction of the Supreme Lord, who is witness to all his work. Therefore, he begins his work according to his past deeds. Required knowledge is supplied to him, and remembrance is given to him, and he forgets also about his past life. Thus, the Lord is not only all pervading, he is also localized in every individual heart. He awards the different fruitative results. He is worshipable not only as the impersonal Brahman, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the localized Paramatma, but as the form of the incarnation of the Vedas as well. The Vedas give the right direction to people so that they can properly mold their life and come back to Godhead, back to home. The Vedas offer knowledge of Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, and Krishna in his incarnation as Vedvyasa is the compiler of Vedanta Sutras. The commentation on the Vedanta Sutra by Vyasadeva in the Srimad Bhagavatam gives the real understanding of Vedanta Sutra. The Supreme Lord is so full that for the deliverance of the conditioned soul, he is the supplier and digester of foodstuff, the witness of his activity, and the giver of knowledge in the form of Vedas. And as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, the teacher of Bhagavad Gita, he is worshipable by the conditioned soul. Thus, God is all good, God is all merciful. Antah pravishtah sasta jananam jnanam. The living entity forgets as soon as he quits his present body, but he begins his work again, initiated by the Supreme Lord. Although he forgets, the Lord gives him the intelligence to renew his work where he ended his last life. So, not only does a living entity enjoy or suffer in this world according to the dictation from the Supreme Lord, situated locally in the heart, but he receives the opportunity to understand the Vedas from him. If one is serious about understanding the Vedic knowledge, then Krishna gives the required intelligence. Why does he present the Vedic knowledge for understanding? Because a living entity individually needs to understand Krishna. Vedic literature confirms this. Yosau sarva vair veder giyate. In all Vedic literature, beginning from the fourth Vedas, Vedanta Sutras, and the Upanishads and Puranas, the glories of the Supreme Lord are celebrated by performance of Vedic rituals, discussion of the Vedic philosophy, and worship of the Lord in devotional service. He is attained. Therefore, the purpose of the Vedas is to understand Krishna. The Vedas give us direction by which to understand Krishna and the process of realizing him. The ultimate goal is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vedanta Sutra, Canto 1, Chapter 1, verse 4 confirms this in the following words. Tata tu saman, samanvayat. One can attain perfection in three stages. By understanding Vedic literature, one can understand his relationship with the personality of Godhead. By performing the different processes, one can approach him, and at the end, one can attain the supreme goal, who is no other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this verse, the purpose of Vedas, the understanding of the Vedas, and the goal of Vedas are clearly defined. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, may I read the next this purport?
Yes, Mataji. Can do this also.
Mataji, could I recite after you the slokas?
Yes, Mataji. Dvavimau
Dvavimo
Purusho Loke
Purusho Loke
Ksharaschakshara
Ksharaschakshara
Evacha
Evacha
Kshara Sarvani Bhutani
Kshara Sarvani Bhutani
Yastokshara Uchyate.
Kuthasto Kshara Uchyate. So there are two classes of beings, the fallible and the infallible. In the material world, every living entity is fallible And in the spiritual world, every living entity is called infallible. As already explained, the Lord in his incarnation as Vyasadeva compiled the Vedanta Sutra. Here the Lord is giving in summary the contents of the Vedanta Sutra. He says that the living entities who are innumerable can be divided into two classes, the fallible and the infallible. The living entities are eternally separated parts and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When they are in contact with the material world, they are called Jiva Bhuta, and the Sanskrit words given here are Sarvani Bhutani, meaning that they are fallible. Those who are in oneness with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, are called infallible. Oneness does not mean that they have no individuality, but that there is no disunity. They are all agreeable to the purpose of the creation. Of course, in the spiritual world, there is no such thing as creation, but since the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as stated in the Vedanta Sutra, is the source of all emanations, the conception is explained. According to the statement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, there are two classes of living entities. The Vedas give evidence of this, so there is no doubt about it. The living entities who are struggling in this world with the mind and five senses have their material bodies which are changing. As long as a living entity is conditioned, his body changes due to constant with matter. Matter is changing, so the living entity appears to be changing. But in the spiritual world, the body is not made out of matter, therefore, there is no change. In the material world, the living entity undergoes six changes: birth, growth, duration, reproduction, the dwindling, and vanishing. These are the changes of the material body. But in the spiritual world, the body does not change. There is no old age, there is no birth, there is no death, or there all exists in oneness. Sarvani Bhutani, any living entity who has come in contact with matter, beginning from the first created being Brahma down to a small ant, is changing its body. Therefore, they are all fallible. In the spiritual world, they are always liberated in oneness. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Mataji, this one I'll going to read this.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, can you please help me in this one?
Uttama Purushastvanya.
Mataji, your voice is not coming clearly.
Uttama
Uttama
Purushastvanya.
Purasatavanya
Tanya
Tanya
Paramatmeti
Paramatneti
Udahrita
Yudahata
Yolokatrayam
Yolokatrayam
Avishya
Avishya
Vivarti
Vibhanti
Avyaya Ishvara.
Avyayishvara. Thank you, Mataji. Translation. Besides these two, there is the greatest living personality, the Supreme Soul, the imperishable Lord Himself, who has entered the three worlds and He is maintaining them. Purport. The idea of this verse is very nicely expressed in the Kat Upanishad 2.2.13 and Shvetavatra Upanishad 6.13. It is clearly stated that there are above the innumerable living entities, some of whom are conditioned and some of whom are liberated. There is a Supreme Personality who is Paramatma. The Upanishad verse runs as follows: Nito Nityam Sitam Sitanam. The purport is that amongst all the living entities, both conditioned and liberated, there is one Supreme Living Personality, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who maintains them and gives them all the facility of enjoyment according to different work. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated in everyone's heart as Paramatma. A wise man who can understand Him is eligible to attain perfect peace, and not others. Not others. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yashmat Shram Atitoham Aksharadapi Chottama Atosmi Loke Veda Cha Pratitha Purushottama. Translation: because I am transcendental, beyond both the fallible and the infallible, and because I am the greatest, I can celebrate both in the world and in the Vedas as a supreme person. But no one can surpass the supreme personality of Godhead Krishna, neither the conditioned soul nor the liberated soul. He is therefore the greatest of. Can you scroll down? Okay.
Can you see?
Yes. No one can surpass the supreme personality of Godhead Krishna, neither the conditioned soul nor the liberated soul. He is therefore the greatest of personalities. Now it is clear here that the living entities and the supreme personality of Godhead are individuals. The difference is that the living entities, either in the conditioned state or in the liberated state, cannot surpass in quantity the inconceivable potencies of the supreme personality of Godhead. It is incorrect to think of the Supreme Lord and the living entity as being on the same level or equal in all respects. There is always the question of superiority and inferiority between their personalities. The word Uttama is very significant. No one can surpass the supreme personality of Godhead. The word Loke signifies in the Purusha Agama, the Smriti scriptures, as confirmed in the Nirukti dictionary. Lokyate Vedartho Nena. The purpose of the Vedas is explained by the Smriti scriptures. The Supreme Lord, in his localized aspect of Paramatma, is also described in the Vedas themselves. The following verse appears in the Vedas: Chandogya Upanishad, Canto 8, Chapter 12, verse 3. Tavad Esha Samprasado Shamak Shamak Charirat Samyuthya Param Jyoti Rupam Sampadde Shevena Rupen Abhinishpadyate Sha Uttama Purusha. The super soul coming out of the body enters in the impersonal Brahma Jyotir. Then in his form, he remains in his spiritual identity. The Supreme is called the Supreme Personality. That Supreme is called the Supreme Personality. This means that the Supreme Personality is exhibiting and diffusing his spiritual effulgence, which is the ultimate illumination. The Supreme Personality also has a localized aspect as Paramatma by incarnating himself as the son of Satyavati and Parashara. He explains the Vedic knowledge as Vyasadeva. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yo mam evam asamuddho janati purushottamam sa sarvavid bhajati mam sarvabhavena bharata. Translation: whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is the knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata. Purport: there are many philosophical speculations about the constitutional position of the living entities and the supreme absolute truth. Now, in this verse, the Supreme Personality of Godhead clearly explains that anyone who knows Lord Krishna to be the Supreme Person is actually the knower of everything. The imperfect knower goes on simply speculating about the absolute truth, but the perfect knower, without wasting his valuable time, engages directly in Krishna consciousness, the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. Throughout the whole of Bhagwat Gita, this fact is being stressed at every step, and still there are so many stubborn commentators on Bhagwat Gita who consider the supreme absolute truth and living entities to be one and the same. Vedic knowledge is called Shruti, learning by oral reception. One should actually receive the Vedic message from authorities like Krishna and his representatives. Here, Krishna distinguishes everything very nicely, and one should hear from this source. Simply to hear like the hawks is not sufficient. One must be able to understand from the authorities. It is not that one should simply speculate academically. One should submissively hear from Bhagavad Gita that these living entities are always subordinate to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anyone who is able to understand this, according to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, knows the purpose of the Vedas. No one else knows the purpose of the Vedas. The word bhajati is very significant. In many places, the word bhajati is expressed in relationship with the service of the Supreme Lord. If a person is engaged in full Krishna consciousness in the devotional service of the Lord, it is to be understood that he has understood all the Vedic knowledge. In the Vaishnava Parampara, it is said that if one is engaged in the devotional service of Krishna, then there is no need for any other spiritual process for understanding the supreme absolute truth. He has already come to the point because he is engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. He has ended all preliminary processes of understanding. But if anyone, after speculating for hundreds of thousands of lives, does not come to the point that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead and that one has to surrender there, all his speculation for so many years and lives is a useless waste of time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Mataji, I'm going to read this one.
Okay, Prabhuji,
Would you please help me in the shloka?
Iti guhya
Mataji, please, your voice is not clear. Sorry.
Shall I help?
Yeah, please, Mataji, please help me.
Iti guhyatamam
Iti guyatam
shastram
shastram
midam muktamaya nagha
midam muktam maya nada
etadbu
etadu
dva
dva
buddhiman one
buddhima
minute. Buddhiman
buddhiman
chiyat
chayat
kritakritsa
kritcha
cha bharata.
cha bharata. Thank you, Mataji. Translation. This is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures. O sinless one, that is disclosed now by me. Whoever can understand this will be become wise, and his endeavors will know perfection. Purport. The Lord clearly explained here that is the substance of all revealed scriptures, and one should understand that as it given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thus one will become intelligent and perfect in the transcendental knowledge. In other words, by understanding this philosophy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engaging in his transcendental service, everyone can become freed from all contaminations of the modes of material nature. Devotional service is a process of spiritual understanding. Wherever devotional service exists, the material contamination cannot coexist. Devotional service to the Lord and the Lord Himself are one and the same because they are spiritual. Devotional service takes place within the internal energy of the Supreme Lord. The Lord is said to be the sun, and ignorance it's called darkness. And when the sun is present, there is no question of darkness. Therefore, whenever devotional service is present under the proper guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, there is no question of ignorance. Everyone must take to this consciousness of Krishna. Mataji, yeah, thank you so much. Everyone must take to this consciousness of Krishna and engage in devotional service to become intelligent and purified. Unless one comes to the position of understanding Krishna and engages in devotional service. However intelligent he may be in the estimation of some common man, he is not perfectly intelligent. The word anaga, by which Arjuna is addressed, is significant. Anaga, O sinless one, means that unless one is free from all sinful reaction, it is very difficult to understand Krishna. One has to become free from all contamination, all sinful activities, then he can understand. But devotional service is so pure and potent that once one is engaged in devotional service, he automatically comes to the stage of sinlessness. While one is performing devotional service in the association of pure devotees in full Krishna consciousness, there are certain things which require to be vanquished altogether. The most important thing One has to supermount his weakness of the herd. The first fall down is caused by the desire to lord it over material nature. Thus, one gives of the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Lord. Thus, the second weakness of the herd is that one is as one increases the prosperity of Lord it over material nature, he becomes attached to matter and the position of matter. The problems of material existence are due to these weakness of the herd. In this chapter, the first 5 verses describe the process of freeing oneself from these weakness of hurt, and the rest of the chapter from the 6th verse through the end discuss Purushottam Yoga. Thus, the end of the Bhakti Vedanta purport to the 15th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of Purushottam Yoga, Purushottama Yoga, and the Yoga of the Supreme Person. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji, the slokas are over.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna, we finished the slokas and Papa.
Yeah, just a minute. Please do the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. No? Meanwhile, I'll just log in through the laptop.
Mataji, I should only do or the participant should do, Mataji?
Anyone can do it. Anyone can do it.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Hara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you so much, Vaishnavi, for handling.
It's fine, Mataji.
Yeah. Hmm. Today we have started from 15th sloka onwards, no?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, yeah. Hare Krishna. Yeah, is it visible now?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, can I?
Pardon?
Can I?
No, I think you have already completed. No, I'm just explaining the purport what you have read. Okay, we are not repeating anything. Yeah. So the translation, yeah. Sarvasya chaham pratisannivishto matta smritim jnanam apohanam cha vedaissa sarvai aham eva vedyo vedanta kridveda videva chaham. Okay, I am seated in everyone's heart. From me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness by all the Vedas. I am known, I am to be known indeed. I am the compiler of Veda. Okay, and I am the knower of the Vedas. So here Lord is saying that so the soul which is there inside us is nothing but a part of a super soul, and which show us the directions to progress further in the bhakti and all. And he is a compiler of all the Vedas which are there, the Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Sama, and Atharvana Veda. Everything is Lord Krishna. That's what he's been telling. And Anta Pravishta Sastak Jananam, the living entity forgets as soon as he quit his present body. So whatever the memory they have, no, that is only pertaining to this particular life. Once they leave the material body, then automatically they forget everything. So by studying this Vedas, Lord Krishna will give us the required energy to progress further in the bhakti and attain the supreme goal, that is no other than the supreme personality of the Godhead. So in this verse, the purpose of Vedas, understanding of the Vedas, the goal of Vedas is clearly shared. Okay. By reading the scriptures, we can know about the Lord. So in this again, this verse is explaining about two classes of people, the fallible and the infallible ones. In the material world, every living entity is a fallible one, and spiritual world, every living entity is a infallible one. Okay, so there is a difference between the material body and the spiritual body. What Krishna has is the spiritual body, and what we all are made up of this 24 element is a material body. So yeah. The living entities are generally separate parts and parcel of Supreme Personality of the Godhead, as we all know. When they come in contact with a material world by different modes of material nature, so they are called world, they are called Jiva Bhuta. The Sanskrit words are given as the Kshara Sarvani Bhutani, means they are fallible ones. So we change. But if you think about the Supreme Personality of the Godhead and the people who are elevated like Bhagwan stage and all, who are in oneness with the Supreme Personality of the Godhead, they are infallible ones. And if you can see in the old picture of Lord Krishna, at any point of time, he never used to look beyond 25 years of age. That is the difference between the spiritual body and material body. If you see, how we were born, and till now we are not the same. Lot of fluctuations in our body structure and all. Is it or not? Yeah. So these two, the same thing has been explained here. So the body, the material body, what we all possess, undergo all this process, that is a birth, growth, duration, reproduction, dwindling, and vanishing. There is no, these are the changes what a material body happen. But when it comes to spiritual body, it remains the same, because it is not made up of all the 24 elements what we have discussed in the previous verse. Coming to this next verse, beside these two, there is the greatest living personality, the Supreme Soul, the imperishable Lord Himself, who has entered the three worlds and is maintaining them. So if you take any living and non-living thing, Lord is there in all these people, is it or not? At the same time, even if you take a small atom also, He is there. So likewise, he's situated in everyone's heart as a Paramatma. And why we can't recognize him means, unless we cleanse ourselves and purify ourselves to an extent that like pure as when we were born, we have to, all these sadhanas, reading the scriptures, knowing about the Lord, is that we become ultimately pure, so that he will show his reflection of love towards us. And it should be clean mirror. Unless we become to that stage, it becomes difficult for us to receive that. So all this process, there are 4 regulative principles, 9 types of bhakti, chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and all the scriptural references is a process which help us to make a clean heart, and so that we can reach the ultimate goal, that is knowing the Supreme Personality of the Godhead and reaching the Goloka Vrindavana. Next one, because I'm transcendental beyond both fallible and infallible, because I'm the greatest, I'm celebrated both in the world, in the Vedas, as that Supreme Personality. So if you take both, spiritual body is, of course, Lord Krishna, but material body, all the elements is again made up of Krishna only, because He is there in all the 5 Panchabhuta and all the things which is around us. So He has been celebrated as a both in the both worlds, and in the Veda as a Supreme Person. So this goes the details. Next one is that whosoever know me as a Supreme Person, who knows that? Only the pure devotee knows. Why? Because constantly he is practicing, and his work is to engage all his senses in knowing about the Lord. So automatically he is the ideal person who know about. So that's what is being told. Coming to the last, this is the most confidential part of this Vedic scripture. So sinless one, and it is disclosed now by me. And whoever understands this will become wise, and his endeavors will know perfection. So this is the ultimate truth, that one has to know me. If all his energies are engaged in knowing about me, it becomes easy for him to reach me. Is it or not? So that's what is the ultimate thing what Lord Krishna wanted to say through this yoga, Purushottama yoga. Hare Krishna. Sorry for a brief explanation. Where are we yesterday? Krishna and Gopi meets at the Rasa Dance, no?
Yes, Mother.
Yeah.
Mataji, find this one.
Yeah, Gopi search for Krishna. Come on, somebody please volunteer to read.
Mataji, may I?
Mataji,
Yeah.
can I?
Yes, Rachita, you can start.
Okay. Hare Krishna. The gopis search for Krishna. This chapter describes how the gopis, tormented through the long night by separation from Krishna, wandered like mad women from forest to forest in search of him. when Sri Krishna suddenly disappeared from the arena of the Rasa Dance. The gopis, their minds fully absorbed in the thoughts of him, began looking for him in the various forests. From all the moving and non-moving creatures, they asked for the news of Krishna's whereabouts. Finally, they became so distraught that they began imitating his pastimes. Later, while wandering in a corner of the forest, the gopis saw Krishna's footprints, which appeared mixed with Srimati's Radharani's. Seeing these footprints perturbed them greatly, and they declared that surely Srimati Radharani must have worshipped Krishna with unusual excellence, since she has been privileged to associate with him in seclusion. Further along the path, the gopis came to a place where they could no longer see Srimati Radharani's footprints. They then concluded that Krishna must have taken Radharani onto his shoulders. In another place, they noticed that Krishna's footprints were showing only the toes. Thus, the gopis concluded he had been picking flowers with which to decorate his beloved. In yet another spot, the gopis saw signs that led him to imagine that Sri Krishna had been trying to tying the locks of Srimati Radharani's hair. All these thoughts brought pain to the gopis' minds. Because of because of the special attention she received from Krishna, Sri Radha began to consider herself the most fortunate of women. She thought him that she could walk no further that he would have to carry her on his shoulders. But just then the Lord disappeared from her sight. Srimati Radharani was extremely troubled, then began looking everywhere for him. And when she finally met her gopi girlfriends, she related to them what had happened. All the gopis then went out to look for Krishna in the forest, going as far as the moonlight reached. But in the end, they were unsuccessful. So they went back to the shore of the Yamuna and simply sang Krishna's glories in utter helplessness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, this is self-explanatory. I need not explain, I think, no? It's all the pain gopis are taking to find Lord Krishna. Is it or not? So they are speculating different thing, his absence.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Mataji, can I read?
Yes.
The gopis and the separation. This chapter relates how the gopis, overwhelmed by a feeling of separation from Krishna, sat down on the bank of Yamuna and began praying for his audience and singing his glory. Because the gopis had dedicated their mind and very life to Krishna, they were beside themselves with the transcendental pain of separation. But their crying, which appeared like evidence of misery, actually showed the exalted state of transcendental bliss, as it is said, Yata Deka Vaishnave Vyahara Duka Nitya Janiha Shri Paramananda Sukha. Whenever one sees a Vaishnava acting unhappy, one should know it for sure that he is actually experiencing the highest spiritual bliss. Thus, each of the gopis began addressing Lord Krishna according to her individual mood of ecstasy, and they all prayed him for his mercy. At the pastimes of Krishna spontaneously arose in the mind of the gopis. They sang their song, which relieved the agony from those suffering from the burning pain of separation from Krishna, and which bestowed supreme auspiciousness. They sang, O Lord, O Lover, O Cheater, when we remember your smile,
your loving glances, and your pastime with your boyhood friends, we become extremely agitated. Remembering your lotus face, adorned with locks of blackish hair, smeared with the dust of the cow, we become irrevocably attached to you. And when we remember how you follow the cow from forest to forest with your tender feet, we feel great pain. In their separation from Krishna, the gopis considered a single moment an entire age. Even when they had previously seen him, they had found the blinking of their eyelids intolerable, for it blocked the vision of him for a fraction of a second. The ecstatic sentiments for Lord Krishna that the gopi expressed may appear like symptoms of lust, but in reality, they are manifestations of the pure desire to satisfy the Supreme Lord's precious senses. There is not even the slightest trace of lust in these moods of the gopis. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So it is a pain in separation, but there is no lust attached here. So they are feeling that they are not able to see Lord Krishna. So they are singing the glories of the Lord.
Mataji, where has Krishna disappeared now?
It will come. We are reading. No, it will come. Hare Krishna. Please, somebody.
Mataji,
Mataji, can I?
Krishna is becoming naughty.
Yes. Somebody please
Okay.
volunteer to
Yes,
read.
Mataji.
Mataji, Hare Krishna, Mataji, I just want to ask you one thing. When the matlab, did the Rasa dance had happened at night or?
Yes, that's what no. They told Krishna will say what will they'll come in a dark night, pitch dark night to the Vrindavan forest. Then he says it's not right on your part to come in this time, and they ask them to go back. Is it or not? They
But
say they don't find happiness engaging in material life and all. They wanted to serve Krishna.
okay, so it was their souls who had come or what?
Yes, exactly. Not like physically being present. Okay.
Yeah, but I've heard that their souls were like that of a 3-year-old child, and Krishna was of 7-year-old. I've heard so far.
No, this Rasa dance and all is when they have become what do you say, teenagers and young age people. Maybe your age group people. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
Mataji, I'll read it.
Yeah.
The reunion. This chapter describes how Sri Krishna manifested himself in the midst of the gopis, who have become extremely disturbed by their separation from him. After he consoled them, they expressed to him their deep feelings of ecstasy. The gopis, having shown in various ways their great eagerness to see Krishna, the attractor of Cupid, he appeared before them wearing silken yellow garment and a beautiful flower garland. Some of the gopis, overwhelmed with ecstasy at seeing him, grasped his hand. Other, Others placed his arm on their shoulder, and others accepted the remnants of betel nut he had chewed. Thus they served him. One gopi, impelled by loving anger towards Krishna, bit her lip and looked askance at him. Because the gopis were so attached to Krishna, they were not satiated even by continuously gazing at him. One of them then placed Krishna within her heart, closed her eyes, and embracing him within herself again and again, became absorbed in transcendental bliss, just like a yogi. In this way, the pain the gopis had felt because of the separation from the Lord was dispelled. Next, Lord Krishna went to the banks of the Yamuna in the company of the cowherd girls, his internal potencies. The gopis then made a seat for Krishna out of their shawl, and after he had sat down, they enjoyed with him by gesturing amorously. The gopis still felt hurt that Krishna had disappeared, so he explained to them why he had done so. He further told them that he had come under the exclusive control of their loving devotion and would ever remain indebted to them. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So he appeared and he was sitting with them and he was explaining them like why he disappeared and all. So he is very happy, fortunate to have such a gopis and who has so much of love for him. So he's feeling indebted for him. That's what he expressed. Next, I think the Rasa dance.
Yeah, Mataji, I'll go into read this one.
Yes.
The Rasa dance, the chapter describes Lord Shri Krishna dance, which he enjoyed with his beloved girlfriends in the forest along the Yamuna River. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, is the most expert in the knowledge of transcendental modes in the company of the gopis, who were tightly bound to him by the ropes of affection and totally dedicated to his service. The Lord expanded himself into numerous forms. The gopis became intoxicated with their enthusiasm to enjoy the rasa dance, and thus they began satisfying Krishna's sense by singing, dancing, and gesturing amorously. The sweet voices of the gopis filled all the directions. Even after the Lord Krishna manifested himself in numerous forms, each gopi thought he was standing next to her alone. Gradually, the gopi became fatigued from the continuous dancing and singing, and each of them placed their arm on the shoulder of the Krishna, standing beside her. Some gopis smelled and kissed Krishna's arm, who bore the fragrance of the lotus and was adorned with sandalwood paste. Others put Krishna's hand on their bodies, and yet others gave Krishna pleasure by embarrassing him lovingly. Lord Krishna, being the supreme absolute truth, is the only actual enjoyer and an object of enjoyment. Although he is one without a second, he expanded himself into many forms to increase his personal pastimes. Therefore, great scholars say that Krishna Rasliya is like a child playing with his own reflection. Sri Krishna is self-satisfied and fully endowed with the inconceivable transcendental opulences. When he exhibits such pastime as a Raslila, all living beings from the Brahma down to the blades of grass became merged in the ocean of astonishment. When Maharaja Parikshit heard the narration of Krishna conjugal pastime with the gopis, which superficially resembled the activities of lusty, wanton person, he expressed a doubt to the great devotee, Sri Srila Sukadev Goswami. Sukadev dispelled the doubt by stating, since Sri Krishna is the absolute enjoyer, such pastime as these can never be contaminated by any fault. But if anyone other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead tries to enjoy such pastime, he will suffer the same fate that someone other had Lord Rudra will suffer if he attempted to drink an ocean of poison. Moreover, even one who only thinks of imitating Lord Krishna Raslila will certainly suffer misfortune. The supreme absolute truth, Sri Krishna, is present within the hearts of all living entities as the indwelling witness. When out of his mercy he exhibits his intimate pastimes to his devotees, these activities are never be dismissed by muted imperfection. Any living being who hears of the spontaneous loving attraction the gopis felt for Lord Krishna will have this desire for material sense gratification destroyed at the root and will develop his natural propensity for serving the Supreme Lord, the spiritual master, and the Lord devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we should never try to imitate Lord Krishna, or we should never try to imitate Lord Rudra, because these are spiritually inclined activities, not like how we see in the material world. So if somebody try to do that, they will have a very bad fate of all those things. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, here in this story, there is that that with each gopi, Krishna turned into his forms.
Yes, multiple forms. How many gopis are there? How those many Krishnas? He has expanded himself into so many forms. Because it is a spiritual body. Spiritual body can take, then can clone themselves into so many forms. That is not possible for the material body. He is giving each and every gopi the attention required. She feels as if she's the only one with Lord Krishna. So those are the glories of Lord Krishna, which is not possible for
But Mataji, gopis love are very true for the Krishna. So the gopis never get to know that it is a innumerable form. It is not the original form.
See, they are all great devotees actually. This is they wanted so if you think when we have started about the Rasa dance in the beginning, so they wanted to worship him. They wanted to what do you say get engrossed in the service of the Lord. That's what they are doing. It's Rasa dance is nothing but the soul is no other than the supreme personalities of the Godhead soul. So the soul and the super soul are totally in conjunction with each other. They are literally sharing the same energies. Got it? If you go to the Goloka chart also, the petals which is there, that lotus petals which are there, no, all those petals represent Gopi. So that is the highest form of perfection of love towards Krishna.
Mataji, in one story I have heard that the Lord Shiva also came in the Rasa dance as also he turned into a gopi form.
Yeah, I think anybody who comes there, they have to turn into the Gopi form only.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. I think this is all for today. What do you say?
Yes, Mataji.
Tomorrow. Yeah,
Mataji, I don't know, is it a right time to ask you?
Yes.
It is not based on our class, but after the completion of this course, so when do we get the certificates? I'm so sorry.
No idea. I think after,
Mataji, level one after two hमारे quizzes, I got the immediately. You have to just wait for.
I just need to check with the Devika Mataji. I need to speak because we are about to complete the course. Maybe 16, 17, 18, only 3 chapters.
Mataji, can we do the level 2 again? Because in between, I'm in class 12. Sometimes I got skipped with the lessons. So I'm not fully ready with this.
Okay. Actually, now it has started, the same timings. I don't know. I'll check. Level 2, I think first chapter they have started last week. This chapter they might have gone with the second this thing. But those are all PPT. They are not giving a detailed reading like how we are doing.
Yes, Mataji, I come to know. One of my friend is in that group.
So what is the feedback?
She said, like, I asked her to join in this group for one class. She wants to join with you, Mataji. Like, she want to recite the shlokas and all. I said this is more better when compared to the PPTs. So even I joined this from 13th chapter, I think so, Mataji. So we want to continue with you only again from the first
I really
after
want
we
to
complete
continue
this.
with the starting with the level 2 just to get a proper knowledge of that chapter.
I
Because
will
in
do
between
it.
I skip the lessons.
I'll just check how much time is there for the next batch. So I think only few of us there.
That's why I
Definitely
haven't started the quiz yet.
interested people can join. I think some timing I will you please choose the timing so that we can complete the rest of make a note of our chapters which you need revision, that we can do it. Actually, you can do it in the study group also, no?
That group link is not given, Mataji. Study group links and all we didn't get.
Last
Mataji,
time.
actually, 2 things I wanted to tell you. First thing I wanted to ask, when are the exams for level 2 going to start?
That I will let you know.
And the second thing is, in my study group, we are
Mataji, if you don't we like to give the level 2 exams, first I really want to continue the level 2 again just to get a proper knowledge. So is it compulsory that I'd have to give the level 2 exam just after the completion of this level 2?
Go with the other participants. No, don't try to stay behind. That's what I say. It's nothing like we are just giving our reading habit, and at the same time we are trying to understand each and every purport. But at the same time you need to do some self study, that you can do it by yourself. Okay. And if you maybe my classes is like this, I am not very PowerPoint friendly this thing, because it's like again the lecture I'm giving you and you people are listening to that.
This one was better. Like in the level 1, we had the PowerPoint thing, no?
Yes,
We have a PowerPoint in level
This
1.
one was far better than the PowerPoint thing.
Mataji.
Because there is
Much
a
better,
participant also like talking about and asking questions, no?
Mataji, we only get
After reading
not
the
a good
purpose.
knowledge. I'll not going to say that just about a criticism about the ISKCON, but the level 2 is much more far better than level 1.
Yes, Mataji, absolutely.
Yeah, level 1 is only a basic introduction, but level 2 is like you need to have a detailed study, like say suppose which chapter is what exactly you were reading, and at the same time you should have that reading habit of reading Bhagwat Gita. Unless you read, it will not be there. I'll tell you some story. You will have a vague picture in your mind, and next time if we wanted to read again, also you may not recollect anything, and you will lose interest. So that is not the idea. The devotion services, you should get that nectar of progressing further. That's what I feel.
Yes, Mataji. But please, like ask Devika Mataji about the certificates after the completion of the course.
Yeah. That I will. Anyhow, I have to ask because I'm about to complete the course. I have to ask like what's next, because you people will be the first level 3 batch also. So I'll ask them to give me a 4 weeks break.
Level
Better, so
3.
that we can finish off whatever chapters you need some revision. Okay.
Mataji, I have also skipped the last 2 Friday sessions because it's my board. I'll going to give in April the boards. So it's at 8 I do have my class of school. So it's impossible for me to attend the Friday session. That's why I think that the link is I'm not getting a full purely link in between. It's just about a switch in between.
You can go through the YouTube recording also. You can subscribe to that channel, Science and Spirituality. I am posting that link in the groups also, no?
But Mataji, the face-to-face conversation is the best part. I don't find that in YouTube I really get to know all the things in a very purified manner. I only get to know when you taught to us in a simplified manner.
Yeah, fine then,
Here
fine.
also, here also we used to ask question and at that moment we only clear our queries. But at the moment, I think I have seen the YouTube lesson, but I was not being able to learn it very with sincerity. I'm not getting the proper knowledge, but here I get a proper knowledge, and what you told to us, it's just like a God is shower blessings on us. It's just like that only.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll come out with certain problem solution to this after the session. Okay, I'll get back to you
Mataji,
next
I
week.
had a question.
Yes, please.
Mataji, is it necessary to be following the 4 regulative principles for level 3?
See the guidelines, that's it.
Okay,
People who are
Mataji.
serious in what do you say, getting initiation, getting further this thing, for your level it's not required, frankly to say. Just read the Bhagavad Gita, do chanting, that is enough as of now. Okay, so try to follow regulative principles. If not, also
Actually, I follow the 3 regulative principles, but I am a non-vegetarian, so that's a problem.
it's okay, you continue with your diet and all. Krishna will take care of it eventually.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah, once you become serious, then automatically I have many non-vegetarian friends previously, who were like every weekend we used to go for the walk, and I just have to accompany them for the fish stall and all those things, and now she's totally turned into vegetarian. I said, are you the same person which I used to come with you and all? So it's a matter of time. Once you are advancing in devotion service, Krishna will take care of everything. We need not restrict ourselves. Okay.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah, I think we'll conclude today by Narsimha Arati. Yes, are you ready, Vaibhav?
No, Mataji, I'm not ready yet. So sorry.
Arey, what is this?
I'm not
Everybody,
weak.
yeah, you have to please be ready by next week. At least Deepak, please
Yes.
continue.
Mataji, can you please share the nurse mark? I'm going to learn this week. Rest week, I'll try
I
my
think
best.
Mangalarti has been shared in the groups already, but I'll share it again. Okay.
Oh, thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Deepak, are you there?
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, can I try today?
Yeah, Deepak, shall we give her a chance?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, Deepak is saying
Just
yes,
a
we can
minute,
give a chance.
Mataji. Just a minute.
Yes.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. प्रह्लादलाददायिने हिरण्यकशिपूर्वक्षः शिलाटङ्कारनखालाये इतो नरसिंहा परतो नरसिंहा यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंहा बहिर्नरसिंहा हृदयेर्नरसिंहा नरसिंहादिं शरणं प्रपद्ये तव करकमलवरेणखान् अद्भुतशृङ्ग दलितहिरण्य कशिपूतनुभृङ्गं केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय प्रह्लाद महाराज जय प्रह्लाद महाराज प्रह्लाद महाराज जय प्रह्लाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद हरे कृष्ण माता जी
Hare Krishna. Vancha
Was it okay?
kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavaibhyo namo namaha. Thank you, co-host and participant, for your active participation. See you all next week.